today my subject is Bible, and I'm going to summarize the story, The Biggest Feeding. This story is based on Matthew 14, verse 13 to 21. Okay, so let's start. One day, Jesus saw a multitude of people, a crowd of people, so many people, and they recognized Jesus and they wanted to hear him. Jesus and his disciples were surprised to find the crowd waiting for them on the shore. Jesus pitied them so, even though he was tired, he talked to them all day. He also healed the sick, as I've said. But many people kept coming and coming. Soon there were 10,000 men, women, and children. Like, there's so many people. Oh no, what are we gonna do here? And all of them were so eager to listen to the messages that Jesus was telling to them. Soon, sunset drew near. It's like nobody left, even though it's already sunset, and they have not eaten yet. So the disciples said, and Jesus felt sorry for them. "You give them something to eat," he ordered his disciples. They were so surprised. Where will we get food? Imagine these thousands and thousands of people and nobody left. How are we gonna feed all these people? So Jesus said to his disciples, find how much food the people might have with them, and bring anything that you will find to me. And the disciples began asking the people. One disciple asked a boy, he said, "Boy, may I know what food do you have in your basket?" "Sure," the boy answered, "I have 5 barley loaves and 2 dried fish." The disciple asked, "Do you want to give your lunch to Jesus?" "Oh yes," the boy nodded quickly. So he really wanted to give his lunch to Jesus. But the disciple was thinking, what good would this 5 small flat loaves of bread and 2 fish be to 10,000 people? Imagine 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes, fish. Then you're gonna feed that to 10,000 people, and you have 10,000 people or more. The disciple was just thinking, I think this is impossible. I think this will not be enough for all the people. So the boy gave his lunch to Jesus, and Jesus smiled at the boy and told him, "Stay beside me." Then he asked all the people to sit and divide themselves into groups of 50 and 100. The disciples hurried here and there to help the people. Now everyone could rest and see the master. The young boy gave his lunch to Jesus. He saw Jesus lifted his 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. He looked up to heaven and Jesus prayed, "Father, thank you for this food. Please let all the people eat from the food today." And Jesus began to break the pieces of bread. Like, this is 1 loaf of bread, and then he was breaking it so it would be enough for all the people. "Boy, I thought you brought only 5 loaves. Why is that Jesus never stops breaking the loaves of bread?" Imagine just 5 loaves of bread, but Jesus wasn't stopping breaking the pieces of bread. Observe someone. The bread and fish are multiplying. It's a miracle!" The people exclaimed. The disciples brought in the big baskets for the pieces of bread. Then they took them to the hungry, waiting people. Everyone ate to the full. Imagine just 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And then everybody ate to the full. Imagine 10,000 men, women, and children, 10,000 or more. Wow, what a miracle. It's just mind-blowing. When everyone was finished, Jesus and the hungry disciples took time to eat. Gather up all the food that is left, Jesus said to his disciples. Imagine there was still some food that was left, even though it's 5 loaves and 2 fishes, and there were thousands and thousands of people. And there were 12 baskets full. Jesus had his disciples distributed them to the people. They were happy that they had something to share with their loved ones at home. But of course, the happiest person there was the boy, because he experienced a miracle when he gave his lunch day. He gave all that he had with him that day to Jesus. He offered up all that to Jesus, and Jesus multiplied all the bread and the fish, and everyone had something to eat that day. So I have some questions for us to understand more the story. Okay. First question. Why did Jesus have to multiply the food instead of just providing it? He could just give them the food. He could just create some food and give it to all the people. But why did he have had to get someone, find someone that had food and multiply the food that he had? So why? Because Jesus wanted them to know that, I have a little song here. Because little becomes much as you place it in the Master's hand. He wanted them to realize that message, that little becomes much when you place it in the Master's hand. So the second question is, if you were the boy, would you give your food? Yes, of course. Because I want to offer all that I have to Jesus. And the last question is, emphasize that God has many ways of supplying our needs when we are working for Him. My answer is, whatever is in our hands, we can give that to God wholeheartedly and trust Him that He will provide our every need, not just our physical needs, but each time we bring our talents and our gifts to God, our attributes are never too small to serve Him. No matter how small our talents are, whether it's preaching, it's praying, or even just, welcoming people, we can give that to God and He will use us in His work. And this is the memory verse for this lesson. Our memory verse is found in Psalm 136, verse 25. He gives food to all men and animals. His love is eternal. So the lesson that we can learn from this story is that there is nothing too small to give to God. That when we give our talents and gifts to God and all that we have to Him, when we surrender everything to Him, our lives, He will use us mightily for His work. Bye! I hope you were blessed with the message of the story.